As a storm rages on, just remember, the cold doesn't have to bother you as long as you're listening to us. And you can keep listening to us if you go to patreon.com/RecessCastProductions. For less than the cost of the high-demand winter selection, you can support our show. Bonus episodes, early access, exclusive content, it's all just for you. Again, that's patreon.com/RecessCastProductions. That's right. Just hit that donate button and let your donation go. Just let it go.
Well, now they know.
Let it go! Let it go! Can't carry it anymore.
Westeros, Westeros, Targaryen rules once more. I don't care if your crew obeys.
Let the force rage on. The Jedi only held me back anyway.
Welcome to the After Credits Cast, the only film podcast to broadcast live from the highest and coldest mountain in the world. These nipples here, they can cut steel. These are like the Wolverine of nips right here. I am your host, AJ Wasvenska, and I'm joined by Ryan Melsa.
Hi.
And of course, we could not do a Frozen duology without Aaron K-Stuff.
I like warm hugs.
The intro song for this week was Let It Go from the movie in question. I'm sure you guys could figure that one out. And of course, if you want to follow us, you can all go to the links down below. That includes, I've updated the list, Ryan. It includes Patreon, YouTube, Acast, Google and Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Podcast Addict, Stitcher, and like 10 other things.
Holy buckets.
Fantastic.
Yep. This list has gotten longer. I actually have a link for Podcast Addict now. I'm really happy with that one, because before I could never get it. Now I have it. And it feels good to have a link for that one now. The short answer is if you Google us, you will probably find us. You can also reach out to us on Tumblr, Twitter, and Facebook. Let us know what you think of the movie. Let us know what your song's your favorite or least favorite or overplayed, whatever you want to go with. And tell us how the cold bothers you. You can also reach out to us on email. Ryan, where can I email us at?
That email is top10disneybetrayals at... Excuse me. Sorry. That's evacstation@gmail.com.
Is it more top, though, than when Namari betrayed Raya at the beginning of that movie?
No, it's I feel like it's worse because we got a good 2/3 of the movie in before he decided to switch up. I was just like, this is a fucking sociopath right
Fair.
now. Oh,
fair. Well, in case you guys hadn't guessed it, we're going to be talking about 2010's Frozen, a thriller written and directed by Adam Green. According to IMDb, this only made like $3,800,000 worldwide. It doesn't give me a budget, but yeah, I don't get how this could have been a cultural phenomenon.
Hey, that's the wrong Frozen.
What?
Wrong Frozen.
What? Fuck. Sorry. I'll file that one away for later. It's actually Frozen from 2013. Written by Jennifer Lee, Hans Christian Andersen, who wrote the original book, and Chris Buck. Directed by Jennifer Lee and Chris Buck. And this Frozen earned a whopping, holy shit, $1.2 billion worldwide.
Just a
That's
little
8.5
more.
times the cost. Yeah, I can see why this is a worldwide phenomenon. A lot of people saw this one. Not like the other one.
That's a pretty good return on investment. Yeah.
The cast includes Maurice LaMarche, Chris Williams, how's that? How do you pronounce that one? Syrian?
Kieran?
Kieran
Probably.
Hines, I
Kieran
think.
Hines.
Yeah.
Alan Tudyk. I've seen him a lot in these lists. I know his name. Santino Fontana, Josh Gad, Jonathan Groff, Kristen Bell, and the Ice Queen herself, Adele Dazeem.
That's not quite right, John Travolta.
Oh, fuck, sorry. That's what I get for outsourcing these scripts to John Travolta, after all. Adina Menzel, that's who it is. If it makes you guys feel better, I actually have called her Adele Dazeem, both on purpose and on accident.
I've done it
It's
on
one of those things where
too.
Well, it's like it's one of those things where like I'm aware of the joke, and so I like making the joke, but sometimes I say the joke too much that it becomes the thing I just say.
Yeah.
This movie has won some awards, in case you hadn't noticed. 81, in fact.
Oh my god.
Yep. This includes, but not limited to, 2 Lumiere Awards for Best 3D Animated Feature and Best Stereography. I'm assuming it's music. A Saturn Award for Best Animated Feature. 2 BAFTAs for Best Animated Film and Children's Award. 5 Annie Awards for Directing, Music, Production Design, Voice Acting, and Best Animated Feature. 2 Grammys for Best Song Written for Visual Media and Best Compilation Track for Visual Media. A Golden Globe for Best Animated Feature, and an Oscar for Best Original Song and... Sorry, 2 Oscars. Best Original Song and Best Animated Feature Film. That's a lot of bling right there.
That's a pretty good pedigree right there.
Absolutely.
Kind of a
Speaking of
sweep.
pedigree... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say it's kind of a sweep there.
Yeah, they had a really solid year. That's not surprising at all. But before we get too far, Ryan, I believe you have some fun facts for me.
I do. I've got a couple of them right here for you. The production crew went to Norway on a 2-week-long trip before production began, and the movie was largely informed by that trip. The landscape, the clothes, the music, buildings, and the names all resemble those of Norwegian culture. The Arendal Castle is loosely based on the Akershus Fortress in Oslo, and the town Arendal is inspired by Bryggen in Bergen, a west coast Norwegian city, and the landscape around Arendal is similar to "Why do you keep doing this to me?" and giving me these words, Aaron.
Well, I know part of that is fjord.
The Nærøyfjord, I'm absolutely certain I fucked that up. Also on the west side of Norway.
The Nienfjord.
The town's... Yeah, something. It's some type of narrow ford is all I can see. The town's name, Arendal, strongly resembles the name of the Norwegian city Arendal. The names Anna, Elsa, Olaf, Sven, Kristoff, and Hans are Scandinavian or Scandinavian-sounding names. And of course, trolls are a well-known characteristic of Scandinavian culture. Next up, Kristen Bell stated that with this film, she has fulfilled a lifelong dream that began in her childhood when she saw The Little Mermaid in 1989 and Aladdin in 1992 to voice an animated character. When she was around that same age, she recorded a voice box where she sang a couple of songs from The Little Mermaid, including Part of Your World. Her Little Mermaid vocal tracks were part of the reason she actually got the part of Anna, as director Jennifer Lee said to her that if she hadn't recorded her own vocal tracks from The Little Mermaid, it would have been very difficult to find the right one to play Anna. So it's never too early to start working towards your dream.
That is a very feel-good story right there.
Yes, very much so.
Next up, Josh Gad, Olaf, said that when he took his older daughter, then about 4 years old, to her first ever movie in the theaters, it was Monsters University, by the way, there was a trailer beforehand for Frozen. The trailer didn't contain any of Olaf's lines or songs, because I can read, but did feature the brief sound of Olaf laughing. Gad said that as soon as his daughter heard that laugh, she said, "That's Dada! More Dada!" Gad started crying in the movie theater because his daughter could recognize his laugh. Oh, God.
That's
You guys are going to make me cry before we get to the synopsis.
I know, right?
All right. Well, the final feel-good fun fact, hopefully, is that in a magazine interview, Idina... Wow, you almost made me... I'm literally reading it, and I almost messed up.
waiting for
Wow.
it.
Oh, God, jinxed. Okay. In a magazine interview, Idina Menzel claimed her young son boasted to his classmates that his mom sings the songs in Frozen. To this, another child replied, "So does everyone else's."
I mean, he's not wrong.
Nope.
The savagery.
I'm glad we got some good feel-good ones, because we've had a lot of movies lately where they've just been kind of... And so, like, this is nice to have a feel-good, like, series of fun facts here. I really appreciate these.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get some initial thoughts out of the way. Aaron, do you want to go first?
Sure. Though this is not my initial thought, but as tired as I got with this movie during the first massive wave of hype,
That's mine. I wrote it down so I don't forget. You could actually put in whatever initial thoughts.
Oh, I loved it. No, Frozen was one of those. Well, I'm gonna be one of the people who's like, with Let It Go was like the coming out song of the year, and I like strongly identified with that song. But it was really, really good, and it was not what I expected based on all the frickin' previews we had seen, where we thought Elsa was the evil queen.
Yeah, they initially built her up for that, so I was kind of impressed that they swerved that when we first saw it. So, yeah.
I actually was not aware of that. I didn't really follow a whole bunch of hype around the movie, so I really didn't know what I was going into when I first saw it, like back in 2013, 2014. I just kind of watched it. That's interesting.
Well, I know
it's clever marketing.
Yeah.
That's very clever.
Well, and I
marketing.
know in the original story, the Snow Queen is the villain. So I mean, like, it was expected, but they swerved it pretty good.
Well, and initially they had this because I researched Frozen. Initially, Elsa was going to be the evil queen, and it stayed that way up until they wrote "Let It Go," and they realized how powerful of a song that was. So they ended up turning her into more of a heroine rather than the evil queen, which created the twist that comes later.
Well, I'll hit it up real quick. As Aaron almost read all the way.
Sorry.
When this first movie dropped. When the movie first dropped, there was a big, massive wave of hype to it, and like some people I know, I did get tired of it and just kind of was like very burnt out on the movie at first. Like, it wasn't bad. It just when you're exposed to it enough, you just get tired of it. Same with a lot of different things. But coming back to it several years later, I actually think it holds up really well. And we'll definitely get into it here as we talk more about it.
Okay. Just for my quick initial thoughts, it's been a couple of years since I've seen it, and yeah, I saw it when it originally came out, and I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was a movie that wasn't particularly written for me as a target audience, but I thought it was a very well constructed movie that I enjoyed when I watched it originally, and I thought the visuals were fantastic. Years later, yeah, I still think it holds up very well, and I think it's surprisingly self-aware in its theming and its messaging. So it was really good. Yeah, I liked it.
Oh yeah. When you come back to it after knowing all the stuff that happens, you're like, oh yeah, you guys planned this really well, didn't you? Anyway, I have got a brief synopsis here for y'all, and are you guys ready to dive in?
Yes.
Yes.
In the kingdom of Arendelle, there are two young girls, one of which is a mutant and the other is a normie. The mutant has powers over snow, ice, weather, and you probably should have been contacted by Xavier, shouldn't you? Either way, an accident happens in which Killer Frost beams her sister with some magic. Her parents take her to see some internet trolls who remove all memories of magic from young Anna's mind, because hiding the truth is so much better than actually, correcting mistakes and stuff. Years pass and the two sisters grow up basically separated from one another like the two halves of Germany past World War II. It isn't until the parents die that Elsa's promoted to queen, and they finally, have a chance to talk, really talk. Anna is happy the kingdom is opening up for the first time for the coronation because she finally gets to talk to other people. Or just people. Elsa's freaking out because her powers are still not really under control because she's only ever taught to really fear them, which causes them to get worse. Anna meets a man and it gets engaged almost instantly because Disney. Elsa tells her that this is a mistake and this leads to the two fighting, leading her to not be very, ice. Get it? No?
Oh my god, I'm gonna kick you.
Her ice powers do some shit, and people call her a witch, so Elsa runs to the mountains to hide and sing a song about feeling free and empowered. All the while, Arendelle is shat on by eternal winter. In summer. Kind of lame. Anna decides to travel up to the mountains, leaving her kind of fiancé, Hans, in charge. She meets a mountain man who is all about that silver and gold. Oh, wait. Wrong mountain man. She meets Chris and Sven, who are trying to stop what's going on top of this here mountain. They team up because discuss Anna's mistakes, fight wolves, meet a snowman, and arrive at Elsa's fabulous new castle, complete with plans for an eventual Disney theme park ride sometime in 2020's debut, no doubt. Anna tries to talk to Elsa, but when she mentions how Elsa kind of fucked up, she kind of regresses back to her panic state. This causes her to shoot Anna up with even more ice magic, freaks in her heart. Chris takes Anna to the internet trolls, who say that she needs an act of true love to save her. Chris, being a gentleman and kind of a bit of a cuck, takes Anna back to Hans, who has led the charge to bring Elsa down and arrest her. Hans
Bruh.
Hans then reveals his plan to let Anna die and kill Elsa to claim the kingdom for himself, even though I'm pretty sure that's not how monarchies work. Chris sees the kingdom is undergoing under snowstorm again and rushes in to save Anna. Anna gets herself up and, with the help of Olaf, to find Chris. But when she sees Elsa's about to be killed, she throws herself in the way to save her. This act of sisterly love thaws her heart and brings her back to life. Elsa then understands what Dumbledore meant all along. It's love, Harry! She manages to return to Arendelle back to normal. Anna punches Hans and he gets arrested. She then gets together with Chris and Elsa, who is now out and proud about her mutant powers, just in time to join the X-Men post-Fox merger. Great timing, guys. Great timing.
Another spot on synopsis, sir.
Also, I love the Arendelle and the Arendelle for us.
What sucks is no one's going to get that until you've said it.
I know, right? Well, I had to have them enjoy it, too.
I know. I'm glad at least someone got to enjoy it. The audience will just be like, what is he talking about? What? And then they'll never see the script. They'll never know. They'll never know the truth. So yeah, now we've gotten to the end of that one. What do you guys think overall? What do you want to start? Questions? Or do you have any thoughts you want to bring up? Where are we going? What are we doing?
Crickets.
Aaron, what about, like, Bird Lady Aaron?
Yes.
L-
we could call her Erin, and you can call me Aaron. How about that?
That
All right.
works.
Aaron, please give us give us your thoughts now that we've got the synopsis out the way.
Oh my god. Okay, so I had a feeling, one, that Hans was going to turn into a bad guy. He was just too nice from the beginning. It was like something's wrong. But I love the fact that they called out the Disney trope of the princess immediately falling in love with the prince and wanting to get married right away. It was like Elsa saying, "You can't you can't marry a man you just met." I'm like, "Yes, thank you." And having that,
They kind of dumped on that really hard in a lot, didn't they?
oh yeah, well, and it was the same thing with Kristoff too, because he was like asking her about it and going like, "You're gonna marry a guy you don't even know anything about him." So no, they hit hard on that. So they were teasing themselves, which was awesome. I appreciated that. Also, it was just nice. It was kind of cool to have a queen and a princess in there, which you don't see very often unless the queen is evil.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that part of it as well. I thought the story was interesting and fun and exciting, and I was actually really glad that they didn't make Elsa like the evil queen that they were planning to, because that's what I was expecting. So it was nice to have that change. But I gotta tell you, seeing the early marketing stuff with Frozen where they hinted at Elsa being the villain and then that not happening really threw me off, especially since some of those early lines like Kristoff and Anna are getting caught in Elsa's storm, and he's like, "What's that storm?" And Anna's like, "That's not a storm, that's my sister." And Elsa's throwing snow at them, and they of course did not include that in the actual movie, but it definitely threw me off when I kept seeing those previews.
You know, it's always weird when you see a preview and the scenes in the preview never show up in the movie. Like, I know there's a few I've seen that
Yeah.
are like that, so...
Well, and I come to expect that from a live action, but from an animated movie, typically they don't create extra scenes like that and then not use them.
Well, yeah, 'cause it's a lot of work.
Yeah, exactly.
So you brought it up, and I have to ask. I asked this to Amanda, and I forgot to put it on my question list here, and I should have. So, when you both watch this movie for the first time, if you can remember that, at what point in the viewing did you realize Hans was going to be the bad guy?
Oh, I think when Anna said she was going to leave Hans in charge while she went off after her sister, I just sat there and went, "Oh, he's totally going to stab her in the back." I think that's when I knew. What did she say?
I think I was. Yeah, I think I was a little hesitant when she left him in charge, but they kept cutting back to scenes in Arendelle, and he's steady playing the part, and I was just like, oh, okay, I think he actually might be he might be what he says he's all about, like, which would be an interesting choice, seeing as how they've kind of been jumping on the whole, you've literally known this fucking dude for 15 minutes, like, please stop, you are 15, you don't know what you're getting into. But him steady living up to that just made the reveal hit all the harder. So I honestly I wasn't for sure until the betrayal happened, and it was just like, yo, what? Because he's an actual sociopath. Like, that's
yeah.
like, the amount of effort and planning he put in, and the level of acting that he was constantly putting on for everybody in the kingdom, not only to lock in the monarchy when the sisters died, but to also sell the idea that the or at least Anna, trusts him enough to leave him in charge, and that he was worthy of that charge because he was being so caring with the rest of the kingdom. It's like he left no stone unturned at that point. It was actually a perfect plan if Elsa hadn't escaped and if Anna hadn't been saved.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
When I asked Amanda this, she had said she was suspicious from their very first song together. The whole
Love is an open door
song. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was She said he was sketched from that very minute. And I didn't pick it up then, but I definitely picked it up when you said, Aaron, when he was put in charge. At that point, I'm like, okay, that seems a little A, too convenient, and B, you put someone in charge who's got no real authority over these people, and he's also another dignitary from somewhere else. This typically does not go well.
Well, and what's interesting, too, is that people have done analysis of the whole scene of Love is an Open Door. And when he's singing to her, you see him singing more to the kingdom and loving the kingdom rather than directing the song to her. So that was kind of an Easter egg tell.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that.
On my most recent watch, I was trying to pick up on clues, on the earlier clues, and it seemed like the song itself seems so manipulative.
Yeah.
Even though it's not overtly manipulative, but you can tell, now that you know where his motivation's coming from, that he's literally just saying all the things she wants to hear. And I'm like, ooh, that's deep. That's very deep.
Exactly. I mean, he, at one point, I can't remember the actual words, but it sounds like he's saying some kind of, making a loving confession to her. But he turns and stretches his hand out towards the kingdom and looks at it like, this is what I really love. But it's so fleeting that if you, obviously at that point when you're first watching it, you're not going to really notice it. You're going to think, oh, cheesy little love song, how cute. It's like, no, this guy is definitely in love with your land and not with you. Run.
Amanda's always said that she's a bit of an empath, so maybe that's why she picked up on that so much easier, because she could kind of read what he was really going for, and just it's so subtle that the most of us aren't just going to see it right away.
Exactly.
Props to her on that one.
Yeah.
I've got a list of questions here. We can jump into some of these real quick. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Let's just kind of pick up where we're at there. So, going off the Hans thing, the other twist that we kind of got that Aaron already addressed is that Elsa was sort of built up to be the villain, but they kind of made her more of the victim than anything else in this movie. So what do you guys make of that kind of twist in the narrative there?
I personally liked it because I was really tired of women being the villains, because Disney has a history. I mean, I know there are male villains too, but Disney has a history of turning women into villains in the story. I was mentioning this earlier tonight. So Ursula, the evil queen, the evil stepmother, Queen of Hearts, etc.
Mother Gothel.
Oh my God! Talk about manipulative. Holy crap! Whew, I love you, my flower.
That's a fresh one.
Yeah. But So it was nice that, okay, it's not the woman who's the villain now in this case. And also it allowed it turned her into a character that was going through her own journey of growth. And what I've heard and a lot of people say, and I can attest to this too, is that her song "Let It Go" actually, people called it her coming out song. It was her coming out song with her powers, but for an LGBT community, for example, it's very much connects with the feelings of wanting to come out, let go of hiding yourself, and be free, etc. So it was very powerful to me to have her sing that, and yeah, and just actually be the victim who ends up over realizing that love is what can help her control her magic rather than fear and what everybody else pushed onto her. So it made it way more complex than, oh, evil Snow Queen.
Yeah, I appreciate the layers and depth they decide to give the character, because a lot of times you see just straight up, like, look at Jafar, look at Scar, look at all these power hungry villains you've seen before.
Yeah.
Some of them are pretty straightforward to the point. I don't hate that, because they do have a bit of iconic resonance that just kind of let them stick around a lot longer. Like, you name Jafar, everyone knows who that is. They all have a pretty clear mental image of what he looks like. But movies that we've been discussing lately, or will be discussing, like Frozen, Moana's coming up soon, their villains are a little less straightforward. Or in the case of, say, Raya the Last Dragon, yes, there is a quote-unquote antagonist, but the real problem in those kind of movies is not so much the villain, but also the protagonists themselves, and trying to either overcome their own self-doubt, or figure out who they are themselves to accomplish the goal in mind. Mm-hmm. And I like that these newer Disney films, while missing on the megalomaniac villains that we grew up with, they're getting a more introspective look, which I think a lot of kids, especially us back in the day, probably need to be able to understand more about themselves and who they are as a person.
I think that's spot on. I really do. I think the level of subject matter and the level of discourse in quote-unquote children's movies have been like steadily rising and increasing over the years. And I think it's a great thing. I think seeing these movies where it shows that the world is more than just black and white kind of good guys and bad guys, heroes and villains type thing, and introducing more complex situations to kids while making it simplified but also not downplaying its importance, and really letting characters be characters that have complex issues. Like, I think the younger you are introduced to that, the more the more emotionally intelligent you become, because you have more time to really be comfortable with situations like that, and really trying to work on your empathy and like understanding that everybody's going through something, and what affects you a certain way may affect someone else completely differently. And it's only when you really start getting into other people's shoes that you can really start to see where they're coming from. So the villain that everybody else is looking at might be going through their own thing, and it always helps to try and see where that's coming from, so you can at least get a better idea of how to solve it together rather than just persecuting them.
Exactly. I mean, it's bringing out the ideology of the other with Elsa. She's set apart from the rest of society because something is different about her that nobody else understands. They're taught to fear it because they don't understand it. And it goes into, I think too, it kind of hints at almost bullying, like this fear of everybody's going to judge you if you're different. And I think that's something that really needs to get introduced to children early on, is like, you know, you don't want to bully other people because you have no, like you said, Ryan, you have no idea what this other person is going through.
So that kind of brings me to another question here. So speaking of Elsa and her powers being kind of loosened and out of control when she's afraid of them, or when she is feeling intense fear, When the trolls warn Elsa about her powers, would you have interpreted their warning as the need to hide her powers, or do you think their messaging was just super unclear?
It definitely could have been clearer.
Yeah.
I think. I think they were like. I think the Grandpabble was trying to give the best advice that he could, but it was from a place. It was from a person that wasn't family. So he was looking at it as a threat not only to these people but to everybody else around them, and he was trying to convey how important it was to master her powers, because if they're just let loose, then people can be hurt. He does try to point out that fear will only make it worse, but he kind of lingers on the danger of the power too much. And it's understandable then how the misinterpretation of that advice leads her down the wrong path, particularly since she then loses her parents at such a young age, and she has to do it all by herself at that point.
Oh yeah, like I don't blame her at all for being afraid of her powers, because that was reinforced by her parents, who were told this basically from the troll, even though I don't, again, like we said, I don't think that's what he meant. But because that message got super muddled, like, I totally understand why she's afraid of them and why things get out of hand like they do. But, man, I just feel like they could have definitely stepped back and, like, wait a minute, what are we doing? This is not helping her at all.
Right. And I think the part of the problem was, like, yeah, Grandpappy's, what he said could have been a bit clearer, but I think her parents were already so afraid that all they could hear was fear her powers. So, you have to keep them trapped, try to keep them in. And that kind of goes again with a little bit with, like, telling a kid who's overexpressive to just keep it all inside of you. And at some point, it's going to frickin' burst, or hide your emotions, hide how you feel. Conceal, don't feel. Hide it away, but you can't do that because it's going to come out. You have to allow yourself to be able to feel your emotions, etc., etc. But I think, it was I think it was how it should have ended. The animations they had a great one where, like, he's telling them this riddle, basically what to do, and they're like, "So you mean lock her in a room?" No. You mean be afraid of her powers, right? Well, no. So we should just isolate her from society. Wow, you are terrible parents. So it's hilarious. But no, he definitely could have been clearer, but I think her parents had already decided to fear her powers. So what he said just reinforced it. But I agree with you, Aaron. Like, if you notice it's not working, maybe go ask him again or try something else.
I think what's also kind of setting them on the wrong path is the fact that Anna almost died.
Well, that too.
So it's
that didn't help.
Because I feel like they're not trying to be bad parents, but at the same time they're also, like, incredibly worried because one of their kids just died, and they're like just almost died, and they're like, let's not have that happen again ever. How about
I'm not dead yet.
So, I think also something to consider too is, I had this a second ago. What the fuck was I thinking?
Sorry.
No. You're good. Shoot, I had something for this. Yeah, it had to do with Anna, but I can't remember what now. We'll come back to that if I remember. I probably won't. Let's see.
Did it have something to do with them erasing Anna's memory of her powers?
Oh, something else. I can't remember what now. Shoot, they erased my memory with their powers. I don't know what it is, but they did it. So let's backtrack and go to the technical stuff real quick. What are all y'all's thoughts on the animation for this movie? And as I've asked you before, Ryan, do you think there's any, like, big innovations or changes with animation or the animation process that you think Frozen brought to the Walt Disney Animation team?
Man, I think they had a field day with fractals and just getting to play around with that. I personally, I loved the creation of the Ice Palace. The Ice Palace was real good, and like the whole Let It Go scene was just the animators just getting to have a fucking field day.
It's not very often you could watch someone just make a castle out of thin air like that.
Or clothing. Magically making clothing out of snow.
I mean, I did see that once
Like,
in
yes,
Dragon
I'm
Ball
going
Z,
to use.
but that's a different
Yes, I'm
thing.
going to use ice to transmutate this fabric. Of course, just come on. I also want a long ball gown. Fuck it, let's do the thing.
The cold doesn't bother me anyway, but I want sleeves, darn it.
I've got I'm doing this just in time for the dawn to hit my fabulous fucking outfit. Oh, we're killing it. Like this is it. This is it.
Yas, queen.
Yeah, the timing, the timing and the coordination of that scene is like just spot on the whole way through. Like, if there's any one if there's any, like one moment from this movie that is worth saving and preserving, that's probably it right there.
Amen. It was so good. I like the words. I like the animation too and what they did with it. Like, it was just really impressive. The only, I guess, complaint I would make, and I didn't think of this until after the fact, but again, this is Disney, has the issue of giving the female characters kind of like baby faces, where the eyes are super huge, but their faces are kind of small, and makes them look more like children. And somebody did an animation or drawing of what Anna and Elsa would look like animated if they had more human features. And I looked at that, then I looked at Disney, and I'm like, this cannot be unseen.
I think a lot of that might stem from just traditional animation, though. Like, if you look at any anime, they're all kind of the same way. They have their characters with big expressive eyes, and I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus, because I don't think that's the intention. I don't think they're trying to secretly promote, like, pedophilia or anything like that. That'd be weird. But I do think that if you go all the way back to animation history roots, like big hands, big eyes, clear visual faces, it allows the characters' animations to be exceedingly expressive, and you can kind of tell, like, what they're feeling, like, at a drop of the beat. If you make them too real, you risk A, uncanny valley stuff, but also B, it may not be as clear what they're thinking or feeling unless you have really good animation. I think,
That's
and
fair.
Ryan, you can correct me if I'm wrong. And Ryan, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Raya doesn't really have that issue. I think their faces are pretty well done, right?
Yeah, I think their faces are very well proportioned. Like, I don't think they're so human-like that we get into that uncanny valley issue, but I definitely think they're more distinctly adult, or at least the adults are more distinctly adult with adult human features.
God, I need to see this frickin' movie. I haven't seen it yet.
It's real good. You would really, really enjoy it.
Yeah, right now, until we review more movies, it's the top of our D list right now.
Nice. That's okay. That's impressive.
It's top notch. It's top notch. But I agree. I think the animation for the Frozen, the fractals, and I think the animation for just the snow effects in general were really well done. Like, just I think overall visually, like, it's hard to really say they've done a bad job in any of these, but this is still a really good step forward from what was the one that came before this? Tangled, really? I think. Yeah, Tangled would have been the one just before this, I think.
Also, this like the snow golem was spooky.
Yeah.
Like,
Marshmallow.
I love that they only like really went wild with the icicle spikes and teeth for like 2 seconds before casting it into the abyss, because it's just like, and now it's too scary. Goodbye.
Yeet.
It's like a little twisted lemon. You don't want to do it too much, otherwise you overpower it. I think it's just enough to get you going. Just enough. Let's see. Ryan, this is more for you, because I know Aaron's answer for the most part. When the movie first dropped, Ryan, were you part of that, like, original craze? Did you, like, really get into it at all, or did you ever lose interest in the movie? And overall, what were your thoughts to the critical reception back in the day?
Well, when I initially heard about the movie and about the premise, like I said towards the beginning of the podcast, I felt like it was something that wasn't really made for me as the target audience, so I wasn't like in a rush to see it. I don't think I saw it until about maybe until it came out like on video and on released. I didn't go see it in the theaters, but just hearing its critical acclaim is just like, okay, this might be a movie I really need to check out. So I wasn't a part of like the huge hype train, but I couldn't ignore it because it was so big and so loud. I'm not one of those people that can get overhyped by something where it's just like, oh, I've heard so much about it, I don't even want to look at it until people stop talking about it. But the amount of people calling it such an amazing movie was just like, okay, maybe I do need to check this out. If so many people are in agreement, then something's gotta be all right about it. Let me take a look.
Next one I got here, and this is more for everybody. Olaf, that guy, the little snowman dude. Do you think he works as a character for you? Why or why not?
You know, I get a little torn with him. I do like Olaf. He can have the he can have the slight habit of leaning more towards the C-3PO annoyance at points.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think he was a fun character in there. And, you know, a lot of the Disney movies, you have to have the fun little either creature or sidekick who can talk. And I'm sorry, I laugh every time he runs into the icicle and goes, oh, look, I've been impaled. And I'm like, mood, dude, mood. So I think he works as a character. He, I think he works even more in the second one, which I won't go into, but feels
all energy
yes.
for the second.
Exactly. But you know, I think he adds to the movie, so I liked him.
I will say there are moments where he drops a line or two that I feel like it's a bit much. Like the scene is already doing enough stuff on its own that when he chimes in with a little like one line here or there as a joke, it's a bit much. And I would, if I were to recut the movie, those would be like just the one or two lines I'd cut out. Just be like, we don't need that. The scene's working fine without it. Like the one where he talks about not having any bones. I don't remember the whole scene entirely, but every when that comes up, I'm like, wait, why are you chiming up right now? What was this all about? What?
Right.
Because we're like already in a moment with something else. I can't remember what that whole scene is about now, but I know that one kind of stuck out to me as a weird one.
I have no bones.
He's for the kids though.
I
Like,
know.
Like, he's strictly for the younger audiences. He's not for you and me.
Let's see. What else do I have here? Okay, so this is... I got two pretty straightforward questions and then one, like, basic question here. First one, do you think Elsa and Anna are both selfish? And how does this film address that issue?
That's a good question.
I wouldn't call them selfish. I would say they're immature, which is absolutely not meant to be a pejorative term because they're both children and they're both having to deal with really big stuff. I mean, Elsa has to be responsible for an entire kingdom while she's she doesn't even have a grasp on her own internal issues. And Anna has spent years in isolation, just desperate for some type of love or some type of interaction. And you're seeing all of those things play out in front of the rest of the kingdom. Like this is a lot for anybody to deal with, let alone these two characters. I think I think them working through it. I feel like Anna made more headway in her, or at least Anna feels like she has more growth and agency throughout the entirety of the story. You definitely see Elsa grow, but I feel like Elsa's more of a victim to her circumstance until Anna really goes out of her way and pulls her out of her spiral, in which case she can start undoing the damage that she's caused.
I would agree with that. I would say between the two, I think Elsa did have selfish tendencies, but it was kind of learned from her parents that she did shut Anna out from everything. I mean, I understand that part of it was that fear of hurting her sister. But when you can't even attend your own parents' funeral with your sister, I mean, that's messed up. Come on. And Anna just kept trying. She just kept trying to reach out to her sister. So I think in that way it's a bit selfish. And again, I know she was afraid of her powers, but she still really locked Anna out. But at the same time, Anna kind of sucks at listening because Elsa was trying to tell her, like, you know, she's happier being alone. She's happier in this castle. And Anna's just like, no, you can't be. We got to go back. And yes, she was worried about saving the fjord and the kingdom and everything, but it's like she did not listen to Elsa and she didn't listen to her really much in the film, to be honest. So I guess they both had, it might have been immaturity, like you said, Ryan, and there's a bit of selfishness on both of their sides. But I think that was also learned from their parents, because the parents shut Anna out too, and the parents didn't listen to Elsa either. So learned behavior. I also just like to add in there, how the hell did Anna feel so completely alone? Because clearly there were servants and a lot of other people in that castle that were taking care of her.
Yeah, but they work for you, though. They have to be there. They're not really your friends, though.
True, but she wasn't completely alone. But just saying.
Yeah, no, that beginning sequence makes it feel like it's literally me in this empty ass castle, and
right, exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
well, I mean, it would be weird to lose your best friend for no real reason.
Yeah.
Like, you aren't told anything, you aren't explained anything, and you know she's still there. It's just it's like when Milhouse couldn't talk to Bart, and there's no explanation for it. Now, to kind of answer it myself a little bit, so when I say that they're both selfish, I don't mean that in the sense like they're selfish without reason. Like, I think they both have reasons to be selfish. I think everyone is allowed to be quote-unquote selfish to an extent, because you have to take care of yourself to some extent.
Right.
And I say selfish in the sense that neither one of them listen to one another when they want to express what they want. Anna wants to be more outgoing and social. Elsa wants the opposite. Mm-hmm. And I think they can certainly compromise and certainly come to an agreement, but because Elsa's too wrapped up in the fear she's been dealt with, and Anna's too wrapped up in this fantasy of what she really thinks she wants, neither one of them are seeing the simpler solutions that are right before them, and they're both kind of taking a very self-centered approach to answering the problems that they both have. And I like that they both go through their own journeys to kind of open themselves up more. It takes Anna a while. It actually takes them both a while to do it, until the very last minute when Anna makes the first real step towards helping someone else, and that's when they both realize what has to be done, and that is kind of how they learn their lesson almost. And it's kind of nice that they do arc in a pretty mirror fashion almost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Speaking of that final act, another Disney twist is this whole act of true love thing. Why was this... so what do you guys make of it? And why was this a real step forward for Disney? And how have follow-up films handled this kind of paradigm shift for the whole true love thing?
I love that. I mean, it was nice not to have like the lover is the true love's kiss and all that, because it's been done, and I'm sorry, men can't always save the day, but
Very true. Hey.
but I think
But what about Die Hard, though?
but I think that it's really nice to show like the different kinds of love that someone can have, like sisterly love. But Disney, I feel like Disney is starting to take a step forward to not just do the true love's kiss of man and woman, but you saw that in Maleficent as well, where in the cartoon in Sleeping Beauty, the prince kisses Aurora's sleeping body to wake her up, whereas in Maleficent is the one who kisses her and wakes her up. It's an act of more like motherly love, because she looks up to Maleficent as her mother, as a mother figure. So that was a nice twist for that movie, for one thing. And it was just really nice to see another demonstration of love. Especially after watching Rapunzel with the manipulative love of Mother Gothel, just saying how much she loves her flower, and was singing to the hare and saying "I love you" to the hare rather than to Rapunzel. I'm not bitter.
Well, yeah, we delved deep into that one when we got into Tangled. It was real good. I was super heated about it because shitty parents is a hot button issue.
No
for me.
kidding.
But no, I absolutely love showing like the importance and the benefits of the other types of love aside from just the romantic. I think focusing, like having the focus be on the reconnection and the rekindling of the love between the two sisters, I thought was so important to really tie together the two protagonists. And the other movie that comes to mind when I think of like the power of a non-romantic love is Brave.
Oh yes,
because I mean, just seeing Merida and her mother kind of go head to head, and then come to realize like exactly how alike they are in certain ways, and how treasured they are, and seeing Merida like start to fall apart when she realizes she's gonna lose her mom, like just like that type of love, you don't see it in a lot of animated films. Or at least you don't have that as the focal point of the movie. So really putting a light on that was fantastic, and I hope they do more of it. I really
totally agree with you.
I'm not expecting Disney to do it anytime soon, because I don't think they're going to make that jump, but I'm looking forward to when they start doing even more options. Like I know LGBT relationships have not shown up yet. I don't expect them to happen anytime soon because Disney's a corporation and they do what they do. But I am looking forward to seeing them tackle that. The other two things I'd like to see from them would be like very close like friendship bonds. Like we've seen it in anime a lot, but I'd like to see Disney tackle it as like that's a form of true love right there, like your best friends helping each other out, do your thing. And then of course the obvious one I don't think they've done yet, which would be nice, is oh hey look, my dog saved me with an act of true love, because that's a thing that should totally happen.
Oh yeah.
Admit it, that would pull the heartstrings
my
super
bird
hardcore.
saved me. Yeah. I was thinking about the love of friendship, and it made me think of Wreck-It Ralph, with Wreck-It Ralph and Vanellope. With that bond, that friendship, that love and friendship that builds between them.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. Yeah, I keep forgetting about that one. I'm looking forward when we get to that one. That's going to be a fun one.
Yes. That was definitely a good one. And yes, bring on the LGBT characters, because really the only ones that have been demonstrated in the Disney films have been LeFou in Beauty and the Beast, the live version, and a lot of people had issues with that. But also in Frozen, there was the first hint at same-sex relationship with what's his name?
Oh,
Yoo-hoo,
the
big
guy with
summer
the
blowout.
sauna.
Yes, yeah, him. Because if you look in the sauna where his family is, it's men and kids. So there's the talk that there's a homosexual relationship with that family. So it's like a hint at it.
It's such a quick thing that you miss it if you aren't paying attention. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it and I was just like, I don't think I saw the mom. And then they were gone. And then it was just, all right, moving on.
Yeah, I think there was a hint at it. I would love to see. I mean, I do love the fact that Elsa doesn't need a man, sort of thing, but I still would love to see her have a relationship with a woman. So, but that's just me.
We'll see. I know they haven't really nailed down if they're doing a third movie yet or anything. I would expect them to, since they've made $2 billion a piece each. Or $2 billion
I
total.
thought they confirmed it. I thought they confirmed that they were doing a third one.
Oh my
I think they've been saying that they want to do it, but the writers of the second one, and I guess the first one as well, said they don't have anything planned yet, so I don't know if or when it's coming.
Okay. There better be a third one. I really want Elsa to have a girlfriend.
Final question, I think the answer is pretty easy to guess. Favorite song and why?
I'm trying to find something other than that. Just give me a second. Give me a second.
So I think I might know. For me, there's a moment in the movie where Anna goes to visit Elsa, and they're both in the castle, and the snowstorm starts building up in the castle room. And I think it's like the first time in forever reprisal is what they call it, maybe.
Yeah, it was the reprise.
I like that. I generally like it when the two characters can go back and forth, and I like it when they do reprisals because they usually indicate some major tone shifts, and the visuals that accompany this were also really solid. Like, the whole thing was really fun. I enjoyed that a lot. As much as
Also,
as iconic as Let It Go is, this is probably my favorite one just because of everything it's doing all at once.
Also, it points at what you were mentioning about how Anna's really not great at listening.
Yeah.
Because she's like, for the first time in forever, we're gonna do this together, and Elsa's like, oh my god, I'm about to lose my shit.
Right.
Oh no, you
Panic
gotta go.
attack
You gotta
building.
not be
Can you
here.
not see the frickin' snow surrounding me?
It's like, I'm actively losing my mind, and you're over there singing. I need you to stop. Please stop.
Yes. I will agree with you, Aaron. Like, the reprise is I love it. I love the harmony. I love the dissonance. I love the dichotomy between the two of them. It's just, it's great. I will say Let It Go. I have to say Let It Go is my favorite. But if you compared the two Frozen movies, that would not be my answer. I will just say that.
Oh, we'll get there. There. Ryan, ball's in your court, buddy.
Yeah, damn it, it's got to be Let It Go. But I think the reprise for the reprise that was mentioned was also an amazing one, and I really liked Love Is an Open Door.
It's catchy.
Because of all of I like it because of all of the subtle hints towards the betrayal that we went over.
See, I can't say that until I rewatch it so I can see myself.
Yeah, it's written as just this fun little, we're falling in love in the first 20 minutes of the movie. Yeah, we got this. And it's meant to be a big-ass distraction and a manipulation. And that's very clever writing. So I can appreciate that.
Agreed.
I appreciate no one picked the Troll song because I feel like that's probably the weakest song of the bunch.
Like, I had fun with it, but yeah, I do think it's the weakest one.
Well, I might argue with that between that and then Olaf's song, because that was one of the ones I didn't feel needed to be in the movie.
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
Man, that could be a conversation right there. But if you want to reach out to us on Tumblr, Twitter, and Facebook, you can reach out to us and tell us your favorite songs and why. Tell us why you think it's the reprisal, or why you think it's Let It Go, or why you think it's something else entirely. And if you want to reach out to us directly, Ryan, what is that email?
That email is, oh look, I don't have an email to give. No, it's evacstation@gmail.com.
Very good, very good. This is part of the show where we rank the film from platinum to trash and all the colors in between. And we also will add a new entry onto the D list, which is the Disney list, in case anyone's wondering out there. So let's just start with ranking it. Aaron, you want to go first, or do you remember the ranking system we've been using?
I was just gonna ask you. I can't remember what the ranking system is. So one of you go first.
So it's platinum is like, perfect, best. Everyone, it's required viewing. Every step down is a little bit less, with bronze being kind of in the middle as like you can check it out, you can rent it, but it's not like you are missing out on anything important. And then below that is everything. It's like, stone, you could probably skip it. What do you say? Dirt. Wait, is it dirt or stone? Dirt next, where it's just like, it's not good at all. You just miss it. And then trash, which is we renamed from shit, is just it's offensive, it's bad. Don't even bother with it.
Gotcha. I would say so. It's what's the one after platinum? Is that diamond or gold?
Oh, that'd be gold.
I would say for Frozen 1, I would say gold.
Really? Okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I really loved it, but I think I have to rank it gold after seeing the sequel.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm very curious about that now. Ryan, where would you put it at?
I would also give this a very, very strong gold.
Yeah.
I think it's a very innovative movie for its time, and I think it's amazingly well done and definitely holds up. But I wouldn't necessarily call it required viewing for anybody, or at least no, I wouldn't. It didn't strike me as everybody literally in the world needs to see this, which is generally the criteria that we tend to fall back on when we're looking at platinum movies. I think for a lot of audiences and for a lot of communities, it has so much more meaning than it does for me, and that's absolutely fine, and I think it's amazing for that. But for me, I'm going to say it's a very, very well-crafted movie, really amazingly animated, and great music. You're going to have a good time when you watch it. It's not required viewing, though.
I will concur. I know it's not fun when we all agree, but, I mean, we've all had a fun time talking about it, and yeah, I think, as we all said, it holds up well. It does all the things it needs to do. I think it's just, unlike certain films we've talked about in the past, I don't think it's something that, if you miss out on it, you will miss on something super huge, but it is something that you definitely, if you have the opportunity to, check it out. But it's not like you have to watch it to live your life or experience everything. I would say gold is solid. Gold is very solid. Yeah. Ryan, we have a list now. I think based on our scores, I know where it's going to fall. But number 1 is Raya the Last Dragon. Number 2 is Tangled. This is number 3, Ryan. Where is it going to go on the list?
I would definitely put it at our new number 2 spot. I think Tangled is great, but I think it's gonna kind of form the baseline for what we think is pretty good. I think it's definitely better than Tangled.
Yeah, I think Tangled being the baseline isn't bad. Like, it's not saying it's not good. It's just it's a
Disney puts out good shit, man. What do you?
It's
exactly.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to rank them. Like I said in the first movie, Ryan, I don't want to compare these movies to other movies outside the Disney list because they'd all be pretty much top tier. So that's why I thought making a list like this would make sense, because we're comparing them to each other, which is I think the fairest assessment for all of them.
So yeah, I'd stand by that. I put it at second. I don't think it's better than Raya, but that's a high fucking bar to hit. So I think it's solid at number 2.
Absolutely. So tune in next week when you guys will be listening to Moana, but we're going to go do our Patreon exclusive for, I think it's June, which is going to be Frozen 2. Look, oddly enough. So if you are a Patreon subscriber or want to follow us on the Patreon to listen to that episode, please do so, because that'll be a fun time. Until then, we'll see you after the credits.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, let it go.
That evil ring will be gone. Here I stand.
But now you say
Let the force rage on.
is a better name anyway.